Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are looking at a story of absolutely relentless transformation. We're going to unpack the DMA of a company that completely changed how the entire world watches entertainment. But as you'll see throughout this explainer, Netflix's true superpower isn't actually just their underlying technology. It's their ruthless, uncompromising willingness to literally destroy their own highly successful business models just to build the next one. Honestly, it's a masterclass in why adapting is the only real way to survive. To truly appreciate this, we kind of have to take a second and remember the sheer pain of the old reality. Imagine, or remember if you were there, having to actually get in your car, drive to a brick-and-mortar video store, aimlessly browse through endless rows of plastic cases, and just cross your fingers that the new release you wanted wasn't already rented out. And the worst part? If you returned it late, or, heaven forbid, forgot to rewind the cape, you were hit with steep financial penalties. That was the status quo. Netflix completely shuttered that. Their new reality offered a clean monthly subscription, direct mail delivery, and absolutely zero due dates or late fees. Just like that, at the touch of a button, the physical friction of movie night was just gone. So here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll be tracking this evolution over 5 distinct eras. Number 1, killing the video store. Number 2, the streaming revolution. 3, becoming Hollywood. 4, the streaming wars. And finally 5, disrupting the future. All right, starting things off with section 1, killing the video store. Every great company starts somewhere, right? And for Netflix, it was 2 visionaries, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph. They looked at Blockbuster's absolute stranglehold on the market and identified a glaring vulnerability: those hefty late fee penalties. It was a massive source of profit for Blockbuster, but a deep, deep annoyance for consumers. Fun fact here, Blockbuster actually laughed them out of the room when Netflix offered to sell to them for $50 million back in the year 2000. Big mistake. Netflix instead forged ahead by offering pure convenience. But here is the really fascinating part. Even as their DVD by mail business grew into one of the fastest growing rental services in America, Reed Hastings had this incredible foresight. He knew the physical DVD was just a temporary fix. It was just a means to an end. And that foresight set the stage for their first great pivot, taking them straight into the internet age.
That brings us perfectly to section 2, the streaming revolution.
Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds, because the rapid speed of this evolution is just wild. From launching DVD by mail in 1997 to launching streaming just 10 years later in 2007. Now, early on, the digital library was pretty small, the resolution was definitely low, and frankly, a lot of consumers weren't quite ready to drop physical discs just yet. But Hastings envisioned a system where anyone could instantly watch a movie without ever leaving their couch. Fast forward to 2012, and they were already entering the original content era. They were moving at light speed compared to traditional media. But as streaming really took off and millions flocked to the convenience of watching anything, anywhere on portable devices, a critical structural flaw in their business model emerged. See, Netflix was spending absolute fortunes licensing movies and TV shows from traditional studios. So the looming, terrifying question became, what happens when those studios take their content back? Because they could pull their shows at absolutely any time. With studios finally waking up to the true value of their own libraries, Netflix was suddenly facing a fatal vulnerability. They desperately needed a pull-proof library. Which leads us to their next big move. Section 3, becoming Hollywood. To compete with Hollywood, they basically had to become Hollywood. Traditional analysts called this incredibly unwise. Producing television is famously expensive and super risky. But Netflix took the plunge and spent billions to create exclusive shows like House of Cards and Stranger Things. And man, it paid off handsomely. They proved they could rival the legacy studios. But here's the real game changer. They didn't just change what was made. They fundamentally rewired how we watched it. By dropping entire seasons all at once, they created a cultural phenomenon that shifted global consumer habits practically overnight. Binge watching. We moved completely away from that old model of painfully waiting a whole week for the next episode. And this brilliantly illustrates how their entire ecosystem works together. Let's break it down step by step. We call it the subscription machine. Step 1, they hook you with a clean monthly subscription, completely free of intrusive commercials. Step 2, that generates highly predictable revenue, allowing them to plan their budgets months in advance. Step 3, they pour that predictable revenue right back into huge content investments. Step 4, their secret weapon. The recommendation algorithm analyzes your personal watch habits. It knows you binged 3 hours of a sitcom last night, so it serves you exactly what you want next.
And finally, step 5. That highly personalized experience leads to unprecedented customer retention. You stay on the platform longer, and you simply don't cancel. It was one of the most successful digital business models in modern history. But, you can only dominate a market for so long before the sleeping giants wake up.
And wake up they did. Section 4, the streaming wars.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer concentration of capital and legacy power suddenly flooding the market. I mean, for years, Netflix basically had the sandbox to themselves. But look at this battlefield now. You have Disney launching Disney Plus, Amazon with Prime Video, Apple entering with Apple TV Plus, and legacy heavyweights Warner Brothers and Paramount launching Max and Paramount Plus. The conglomerates were wide awake, they abruptly stopped licensing their best shows to Netflix, and they were eager to reclaim their audiences. Suddenly, consumers were forced to choose between a dozen expensive subscriptions.
This fierce competition led directly to what we can call the squeeze. Because for the first time in years, Netflix's meteoric growth actually stalled. They were hit by 3 converging forces all at the same time. First up, market saturation. Nearly every household in the US and Canada that actually wanted Netflix already had it. Second, the skyrocketing costs of original programming. They had to outspend all those massive competitors we just looked at just to stand out. And third, a widespread internal problem: rampant password sharing. Literally millions of people were using family and friends' accounts for free, straining Netflix's finances while offering zero revenue in return. They were at a deeply difficult corporate crossroads. A lot of companies would stagnate right here. But as we've established today, Netflix's DNA is all about self-disruption. So, how are they handling it? Let's look at Section 5, disrupting the future. They refused to just sit still and stagnate. Instead, they reinvented themselves to survive the squeeze, launching a multi-pronged counteroffensive. And to do it, they abandoned some of their most deeply held sacred rules to unlock new revenue. They introduced cheaper ad-supported tiers, something they previously swore up and down they would never do, but millions of users eagerly traded ads for a lower price. They made the tough, super controversial call to strictly crack down on password sharing. And on top of that, they expanded their footprint entirely, giving subscribers access to a free mobile gaming library and boldly experimenting with live programming, like comedy specials and live sports. So, the crucial point here is how they are actively securing their future. Global scale is their ultimate moat. They aren't just relying on Hollywood anymore. Sure, they're leveraging artificial intelligence to make their recommendation systems even sharper. But more importantly, they're investing heavily in aggressive localization and non-English international productions. They realize that different regions want customized, local content. And as we saw with the monumental, border-transcending success of Squid Game, a localized hit can become an absolute global phenomenon. That gives them a massive, distinct edge over their more US-centric competitors. Which leaves us with this final thought. We've seen them kill the video store, pioneer streaming, become a major Hollywood studio, and fiercely defend their territory by completely changing their own rules. They are always, always willing to evolve. But as the entertainment landscape continues to shift right beneath our feet, will the company that revolutionized the streaming industry continue to lead it into the future? Based on their history of relentless self-disruption, they certainly won't go down without fundamentally changing the game first. And honestly, it begs a pretty profound question for your own life or business. Are you willing to disrupt yourself before someone else does? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, keep learning.
If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe to Wealth Decoded for more of our business, finance, and tech explainers. Turn on the bell to get notified when a new video is uploaded. Thank you for watching, and we will see you all in the next one.